Hi, everyone. It's Sophia Melonē, the Debt Demolisher, and welcome to the Sophia Melonē Show, where we make debt freedom the new norm and wealth building the natural nature of habit. When we talk about budgeting, do you realize that budgeting is nothing merely but a succinct habit within your financial patterns? So many times we may think it is so difficult to build budgets on a consistent basis and why it could be so difficult to stick to one. But this week on the Sophia Melonē Show, we're going to be talking about some great hacks that can teach you how to create consistent budgets as a new practice and a new piece of your everyday being. Let's get started. All right. Hi, everyone. It's Sophia Melonē, the Debt Demolisher. And I am so excited to be here before you to deliver the midweek training to get you one step closer to your financial success. I am the founder and chief facilitator of Smash Debt Inc., which is a financial education company that provides financial leadership coaching, credit coaching, workshop facilitation, and foundational training and support for small business financials. And this is done all in efforts to create debt eliminators and wealth sustainers. So welcome to the room. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you found it difficult for you to stick to a budget? Have you? Have you found it hard for you to allow that to be a practice within you? Well, I'm here to share with you guys some great strategies on what you can do to make sure that this can be a consistent practice for you. So if you've been following me on my social media channel, and I am Sophia Melonē, so that's I am SOPHIAMELONE, or you can find me at the Debt Demolisher. I've been sharing financial prosperity tips of the week, as well as motivational quotes that all ties around shifting your behavior when it comes to your relationship with money through budgeting. So we're in the month of February. It's love month, y'all. Hey, everybody. I see Dana's in the room. Hi, Dana. So good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I know you've been practicing that exercise of showing some love to your budgets. So shout out to you, Dana, for making sure that you are doing that. But I know that there's other folks that's on this channel that have not had that opportunity to really love on their budgets or love on themselves when it comes to their money. And they may not even seen any of my financial prosperity tips of the week or my posts that shared on my social media channels. And so let me share this really quickly. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I want to see you back in the room each and every week. I'm dropping a new episode to teach you how to bring your finances closer, not only to yourself, but for the betterment of your financial future. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, share this out, invite somebody else in, because they need these gems too. Don't they, Dana? They need these gems too. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to make budgeting a consistent practice for yourself. So I've actually shared this with my accountability group. So I have a financial goal setting accountability group that Dana is actually a part of. And we talk about the importance of budgeting and how it plays such an intricate role in the actual achievement of your financial goals, because it drives your behavior around your money and how you spend. And so one of the things that I shared with the folks in my group is that to make sure that they schedule weekly meetings with themselves so they can have their money meeting, their legacy planning meeting, their financial sketch, whatever the language is that you want to call it. But you want to make sure that you are dedicating that time to sit down, look at your numbers, look at your activity, and make sure that you're on course. And not only that, but make sure that the activity that you're executing in terms of your transactions in your bank, that it's consistent with the goal that you want and where you actually want to reach. And so if you do this in a place, you can either do it at your home or you can do it away from your home. I know sometimes people like to get out of their space and get out of their home just to kind of create just a quiet moment. If you have a lot of people in your home, I totally get that. But it's also an opportunity for you to bring your family into the room too. So you can sit down at the table and show your babies, this is what mommy and daddy has to do to manage the money. This is what mommy and daddy has to do to make sure that you have food and you have clothing and you have a shelter, so that they understand what life will eventually happen for them, and they can be able to get that, to see mommy and daddy practicing those effective behaviors around money. And when you schedule your time, when you schedule your meetings with yourself, you have to make sure that you honor that time. So many times we can put something in our phones, right? We can put a calendar reminder in there, but there may be times where we will not abide to the time that we've allotted. And so I want to challenge you to, when you decide on the date that you want to choose for sitting down and going over your numbers on a recurring basis, when you get that alert, make sure that you stop what you're doing and you honor that time, because you have to realize that this is your time for your betterment, for your financial future. For me, I set aside at least 1 hour to 2 hours to go over my numbers, because not only do I go over my personal numbers, I go over my business numbers as well. And so that takes a little bit more time for me. But I would say for you, you want at least 30 minutes dedicated to looking at your numbers at least once a week. And you get to choose your frequency, because sometimes people may not want to look at their numbers every week. When you get a little bit, when you have a goal and you have some things that you want to do, you'll probably start looking at it a little bit more. But if you're just getting started, once every other week will be good, once a month. It really just depends on what you want your frequency to be. But make sure that you commit to doing that and you honor that time when it's scheduled. I want you to use this time to look at your activity, to see what's going in, assess your numbers, look at your spending patterns, seeing how you can actually brainstorm on ways to generate additional income. Because when you're on a journey to debt freedom and financial freedom, you're going to need multiple sources of income. Your 9 to 5 is not going to be the only source that will allow you to make astronomical leaps when it comes to the debt that you are trying to demolish, or the cash reserve that you are trying to build, or the credit score that you are trying to improve. And so I want you to think about these things from a perspective of, not only are you using your weekly time to go over your numbers, you're using it as a strategy session for yourself to come up with some additional ideas for you to be able to get some more income in the door. Okay. And so once you've done that, you have your time scheduled, you're sitting down. At that point, you need to make sure that you have all of your budgets in front of you. You need to know what you're looking at. You need to know what your spend plans are. You need to know what expenses are coming due. You need to know what potential sources of income that will be coming your way, so you can include all of that in your plan, and you can begin to forecast for future expenses and to make sure that you have enough to cover what's coming up. Because here's what happens with a lot of us when we are so gung-ho on this journey of trying to reach a goal or trying to do whatever it is that we want to do with our finances. We don't take the time to think about the events or the unexpected events that we know have a potential to happen. We just don't plan for them. And then so when we don't plan for them and they happen, we don't have no money sitting aside. So what do? We have to borrow to fund it. And if you are trying to pay off your debt, or if you are trying to get out of debt, adding more debt is not going to get you out of debt faster. And so what I want to highly encourage everyone to do is to make sure that you're thinking ahead, thinking of what are the things that you already have in your possession that will require some form of repair, that will require some form of replacement, because you don't know when it'll go out. You don't know when the tire will bust. You don't know when the roof will start leaking. And so you have to make sure that you are building that reserve so that you can have that fund available in the event that when it happens, you can lean on that, as opposed to leaning on the bank and they charge you 7, 10, 15, 18, 20% interest. Come on, somebody. Okay. All right. So once you have all of your budgets together, you have everything outlined, you have to make sure that you're cross-checking and you're validating what is coming in. Because what I know is banks make mistakes. So banks are run through systems. They could inadvertently charge you fees. And if you're not looking at what's happening in your actual bank statement compared to what you've planned for the month, there is a chance you could miss some things. Or it could be something where you didn't account for something in your budget that was a legitimate expense that was expected to come out, but you just forgot about it. And if you aren't operating from looking at what's in your bank account up against your budgets for the month, you could potentially overspend, right? Because if you didn't account for something that was automatically going to be withdrawn, that means that you've used that money somewhere else in your budget, but the bank already took it. And so you have to make sure that you are cross-checking and cross-validating against your budgets versus your actual activity that's happening in your bank account. So I hope y'all got that. And while you are doing all of this, it can be a lot. I know it can be toiling. I know it can be like, Sophia, I don't feel like looking at all of these numbers. But let me tell you, you have to keep your why in front of you. Keep your why in front of you in order for you to make sure that you are utilizing this time and this process as a practice for the betterment of your financial habits. Because here's what I know for sure. What I know for sure is your habits can make or break your finances. So if you have poor financial habits, meaning you don't operate from a budget, you don't look at your financial resources on a consistent basis, you spend without thinking, you don't plan effectively, so you spend as opposed to planning ahead and allotting groceries and buying groceries as opposed to eating out, you spend frivolously, you're into this instant gratification thing, it's going to cost you tremendously. And so if you just take a moment to look at your habits and tie every single habit that you have either to an increase or a decrease in your finances, you will truly be able to realize what type of financial habits do you have, if they're poor or if they're rich, right? You can either have poor habits or rich habits. Which habits are you choosing? And let me tell you, operating from a budget on a consistent basis and making it a consistent practice is something that the wealthy do. I said this when I spoke at the Wealth Empowerment Summit last year that was hosted by Constance Carter in California, Stockton, California, when Lisa Nichols was the headline speaker of that event. I shared with the audience there that we want to be wealthy, but we don't want to do what the wealthy people do. And the wealthy people do at least these 5 things. Number 1, they save. Number 2, they plan. Come on, somebody. So planning is budgeting. Hello. They invest, they give, and they dream. And so what the wealthy people do is they make sure that they are operating out of those 5 elements on a consistent basis. And so if you want to be healthy, if you want to be wealthy, you want to make sure that you're studying the habits of the wealthy, and not only studying their habits, but duplicating them. Because what do they say? Success leaves clues. And it's up to you to pick up them clues and do them. Come on. All right. That's all I got to say. All right. So as you guys know, I like to give you homework. And for your homework, I need you to, number 1, make sure that you decide on a date where you are going to consistently set aside a time to plan and schedule your weekly money meetings. That could be your legacy plan. That can be your financial sketch. That could be your money plan. You can call it whatever you want, but all I want you to do is make sure that you get it on the calendar. And once you get it on the calendar, you have to what? Honor the time. You have to honor the time that you set aside to say, okay, this is going to be my dedicated time for me to pay some attention, put some love into the money that I'm earning and the planning of it. Right? We're in a love month. So show some love to your money through budgeting, y'all, so it can serve you long term. So schedule the time, honor the time, And then once you've honored the time, you want to make sure that you're cross-checking and validating your banking activity against your budgets after you've developed them, after you've looked at all of your expenses, that's all of the activity that's been going through your bank account, and look for discrepancies because like I said before, banks can have hiccups in their systems. And if you don't catch it, that's just an extra $50 that you done gave them because they're not going to catch it for you. So you have to make sure that you're cross-checking and you're validating your numbers and being sure that you are looking at what is happening with your hard-earned money. Because at the end of the day, that's your dollars that you work 9 to 5, sometimes 12 hours for. All right. And then last but not least, you want to make sure that you are keeping your why in front of you at all times in this journey to financial freedom, in this journey to debt freedom, in this journey to financial abundance. You have to keep your why in front of you because it's going to get hard. You're going to get to those points where you're just going to feel like I've had enough. I'm tired of all of these things happening. I'm tired of every time I'm saving up, something's happening and the money got to come right out. I'm tired of sacrificing. I'm tired of not spending time with my friends. I'm tired of packing my lunch every day. I'm tired of cooking and meal prepping. I'm tired. Listen, it's going to get tough. But what you have to tell yourself each and every time that thought tries to present itself, the reason why I am doing this is because. The reason why I need to stick to this is because what I want you to realize is this is a temporary sacrifice for long-term gain. Realize that what you're giving up is temporary, but the habits that you're building is going to serve you long term. So stick with it, you guys. And to do that, you have to keep your why in front of you at all costs. Okay, so I want to know, what do you know I want you to do? Subscribe if you haven't already. What you waiting on? Each and every week, I drop a new episode sharing some awesome tips on what you can do to better improve your finances from a personal finance perspective. Okay, got a little tongue tie, y'all. But y'all know what I want you to do. And then let me know what was the value that you found in this training. Dana is just like firing up the chat. Thank you so much, Dana. She is saying, yes, the why is crucial. She is saying that we must count the cost before or it will be costly afterwards. Preach, Dana. Preach to somebody. So Dana is dropping all of the jewels that she was able to find as a result of listening and tuning in to this training. So you share your value below as well. I want to know, what value did you find out of the conversations that I was shared and the strategies that I shared? And which one are you going to implement? I hope it's all 4 of them. Come on, somebody. I hope it's all 4. Just let me know. And once you've done that, share it out with a friend. Let someone else know that these are some juicy gems that you need to listen to and you need to start implementing, because goals without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. Achievement without works is dead. So if you want to make some progress and some changes in your life, you got to go into work. And sometimes you may need somebody to do it with you. And so if you can share this with a friend, that can become your accountability partner and you guys can work together. Or you can join me and Dana and a host of other folks in our accountability group where we come together on a weekly basis to talk about stuff just like this, but in way more detail, because I give them a whole lot of stuff in my accountability group. All right. So what I want you to do is make sure that you join the mailing list, SophiaMelonē.com, if you would like to find out about the up and coming private trainings that is offered by my company, as well as any upcoming events that I will be participating in. Again, I talked to you guys about the financial accountability group that we have. It's an amazing, amazing group. And I would like to invite you into the room only if you are willing to do the work, because Dana knows we do not want anybody that's not willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. Show up, not only for us, but for you, because this is for you. So if you feel like you need some accountability, you feel like you need that strategy, come in and join me by going to bit.ly/FDFW FGSR 2020. That will give you the access to be able to be a part of the accountability group by purchasing the financial goal setting course, because that is the foundation of the work that we do in our accountability group. And Dana knows all about that, and she can teach to that. Okay. All right. Again, that's where you can go to the link, bit.ly/FGSR 2020. Go ahead and get your access. And I want to thank you for tuning in and remind you guys that your financial prosperity awaits you. Don't forget to share this out, subscribe to the page, and some more people are hopping in the room. Hey, Marcus! Marcus is in the room. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you so much. Dana says that you are God sent, Sophia. Oh, thank you so much. Don't make me cry. I wish I could stay on longer, you guys, but I have a call in 10 minutes and I want to make sure that I get myself prepared for the meeting that I have. And so, yeah, have a good one. And I will see you guys next week. And don't forget, subscribe, share this out, leave a message, and make sure that you join us in the next cohort of the accountability group. See y'all next week.